This is a clip from the Red Cow Arcade podcast.
Perhaps it's time to talk about James Rolfe.
Oh, I almost forgot.
Being repetitive is my job. My job. Being repetitive is my job. Yeah, look, we will talk about AVGN when there's an update, and there's an update. I think a fascinating one, personally.
Yeah.
Something happened. A change has been made. He's, I think, trying to both announce the change that he's decided on while not overstating it as to not attract too much negative attention and to not kind of like admit defeat too much. Sort of like a graceful but decisive change of direction. Is that fair?
I would say so.
So it's that he released, so after like a month of silence, and it was true silence. It was, I tell you, that Reddit was getting restless. They were like, now we're at day 23.
No Cinemassacre podcast.
Yeah. So again, recap. They started releasing a podcast sometime last year, the Cinemassacre podcast. And, it wasn't very good because he's not really good off the cuff. He's not a great extemporaneous speaker. And it's not like he surrounded himself with like killer personalities. Maybe literally killer personalities, but that's a joke about Kieran. He threatens that he's going to punch the garbage out of people, I think. Something he said about Reddit one time. I'm going to punch the garbage out of you. But
all right,
sitting there with this Canadian tuxedo, pissed off. I used to wear a Canadian tuxedo, Kieran. So I had long hair too. So anyway, not a great podcast, and the cynics among us said, "Wait a minute, this podcast requires that James get up and go someplace and do it ritually and reliably in order for it to be successful." And so those same cynics were like, it's only a matter of time before he stops doing it. And before, I think the guess was either the podcast will just be canceled a la Rental Reviews, or like Justin and Kieran will fly solo. That's kind of like this. I think the position that they found themselves in a lot of the time was where they were like, well, we have to make content for this channel, and the guy who's supposed to be in all the content's like not available. So
yeah,
is there any way we could make it?
There was many episodes without him, and then like Scott the Woz would show up and without him, and it's just like, what's going on?
Yeah, so it went on hiatus, and then it got canceled. This is sort of the pattern of failed Cinemassacre shows, where I think it's like falling off your diet. Maybe it's kind of like I'm gonna have a little cake for my birthday, and then you're obese again. That's sort of what happens to James. But yeah, he releases the 3 episode 200s, and then he stops doing the podcast during the holiday break. He tweeted something about we've all got COVID, every last one of us. And then
we're taking a break for the holiday.
Taking a break for COVID to celebrate COVID. And he went away. And the longer it went on, the more I was like, a lot of people were like, it's dead. He's dead. He passed away during this period of time. I was like, no, I think it's deliberate. I think he's making some kind of like hard reset sort of move.
Well, I think the plagiarism thing just really shook him. I think it did.
Yeah.
Because that's like a more like, okay, so you make a bunch of AVGNs that aren't people's bags. They feel like they're written by somebody else and produced by somebody else because they are. But like, as soon as it starts to become like a weird moral question, like why am I doing this?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I'm just pure fraud. Is that like?
Yeah, because that to refresh everyone's memories, there was a couple episodes of Monster Madness. They were bringing back Monster Madness, and a couple episodes were. Well, the first episode was plagiarized. Like there was parts plagiarized. They were about to release a second one that might have had plagiarism in it, and then they like had to pause and then like rewrite them and redo them.
They had to scrub most of them, yeah, because the guy they put in charge plagiarized, and he got fired for it. And now they don't talk to him. He says he's got his own Reddit post. It's very sad, actually. It's like a sad situation, but yeah, it was kind of less about like the ethics of plagiarism, and it was more about like how many people did this make aware that James has not been making his own content for a long time.
Yeah,
I think there was maybe an overwhelming amount. You know, if you think about like, there's kind of this like, you know, dopey subreddit over here, and there's a lot of people in it, but it doesn't represent a whole lot of that audience. It just doesn't. But that plagiarism, and they knew it too. They're like, this is huge for the. I just for the record, I don't appreciate the sentiment that comes from that dopey subreddit that's like, let's burn him. You know, and I know that sounds hypocritical, because I've made a lot of videos that probably haven't contributed to the well-being of the Cinemassacre channel, but I don't mean to burn anything down. I just like to talk about things I like to talk about, as I keep repeating. But yeah, I don't appreciate the like, how can we cause failure to the channel or something. I
think I would say at least the top rated posts are all fairly good natured on Cinemassacre Truth. I
like anything, there's kind of this like, I think there's this kind of funny trolly sort of sentiment that represents most of it, and then there's this like kind of you come across it in the replies.
Yeah, you'll dig deeper in the replies.
It's like a picture of a guy it's like the avatar is like Bootsy with a pirate patch or something, and he's like, I'll never trust Justin again. I'm like, Justin? You know, he's like, that guy's pissed about, you know. But then that guy is also too cool for school, where he's like, I unsubscribed a very long time ago. I'm like, see, like, okay. So I get some of the critics, but generally speaking, it's all still very, very, very funny. My favorite new meme that has been coming up a lot more often is when somebody replies with "take a wild guess," because if the behind the scenes video that we originally commented on and got some attention for, that thing was a treasure trove of upside down tripods and drilling desks, and I mean, it was a highlight really of the channel, I'd say, of its 15-year history. But one of the things he was like, people ask me, why don't you have any time? Take a wild guess. I have kids. And so everybody, like, somebody will pose some question. It was like, does Jamie even like this anymore? Yeah, some positive question. It's some obvious question. And the top rated reply by a long shot will be somebody going, take a wild guess. It always makes me smile. Anyway, this brings us to the present day, where he released a video remembering sort of taping things off of TV, the VHS video store, collectible VHS, you know, SP versus LT. That's, you know, classic VHS talk. Ground he has covered before, but comfortable ground, familiar ground for all of us.
The dictionary defines nostalgia.
Hey, at least he wrote it, man. Like, I watched it, and I wasn't like, it was.
I mean, and that was the sentiment of the Cinemassacre Truth, was like, this is more what we want, you know. And this is what I said. I said he should be doing things that he wants to talk about,
just make
and
stuff you enjoy. Yeah, right.
It felt like this was something he actually wanted to talk about, which is definitely the best direction he could go in.
And then there was kind of like 15% of it was like a little like cringily sappy. But it's all good. It's all good. It's
I mean, that's just him.
yeah, it's just duck walking around and being
my dragon in my dreams.
Yeah, close up shots of him going like this. So he didn't in the video say, "Hey everybody, big announcement, something something." He pinned a top comment, and it said, you know, we should, you know, if we're since this is a paragon of journalist excellence.
Yeah, they're gonna roast us
Burn us at the stake.
Like when I misspoke and said Justin was the big cheese or whatever.
Oh my! Like, no, Big Ryan is the big cheese. And of course, I blame you for that too. By the way.
Oh no, I blame you for not correcting me.
So he said, "Yeah, that was really my fault." This year, I'll be making more videos like this, including movie reviews, gaming, various topics. For most of these, I will be going back to my traditional scripted format, where I write/organize what I'll say, rather than doing it off the cuff like the podcast format. I feel I'm at my best this way. I agree. Unfortunately, that means the podcast will not be continued. Is it unfortunate, James? But Justin and Kieran will continue producing and editing. Justin will mostly be focused on Screenwave projects, and Kieran is focused on his streaming channel. So that's where it gets interestingly worded, where there's kind of a contradiction.
Yeah, it's like they'll be working on it, but they're fired.
But mostly not. Don't worry, they're not going anywhere. They're just leaving.
Their spaceship crashed on the way back to their home planet.
I have to go. Gengar needs me. So there you go. I think he's saying like, and I think he's having a little bit of his cake and eating it too. He's kind of going like, I'm going to do my best to diminish the effects of the slobs. But the truth is, guys, I'm addicted to these slobs. I can't quit these slobs. They make my videos for me, you guys. Took me a month to make this VHS video.
I think that's fine. If he can take as long as he wants.
Yeah.
To make as many VHS videos that he wants. I think that's the way you should do it.
If he released, like, let's just for the sake of argument say that he released like 3 videos a year. I mean, he'd lose subs, but I don't think he'd lose that many. I mean, I think you lose more subs from uploading too much, probably, or too much crap, where you're like disappointed frequently. And I don't know how, like, do you think those videos would perform a lot higher than his current videos? Like, because they're kind of rare events. It's possible.
It's possible. I don't know.
But here's something I did want to say for sure. This is his big chance to do a Patreon. No more bullshit.
Yeah.
This is your chance. Like, and then you can make and it would be the kind of Patreon where you're like, no promises. Like, there's no tiers. There's no nothing. It's just like, if you've come along for the ride, if you support me, it's going to be straight James, and you give me money and I'll give you straight James. I think, what percentage of the audience would do that? 3%, and that would pay his bills. Like,
yeah,
for sure.
I think that's exactly what he should do. This is the chance to do that.
This is his chance, man. But I'll say there's like a thumbnail of him being like, "Hey," with the VHSs. It's like, he didn't make that thumbnail. That's a slob thumbnail. That's a slob thumbnail.
That's a Screenwave original.
I also like. I can kind of imagine. One of the reasons that this whole debacle has fascinated me so much is because I think it's so self-evident that it's not working. That things weren't working. That the arrangement everybody was trying to make work wasn't working. That the fascination is in like, so how long does it take before everybody course corrects, before everybody comes up with a different strategy? It's just not working. And I think like after the plagiarism, after the behind the scenes thing, after, the episode 200 got weird, I think they finally were like, I don't think it's working. Like we don't, Screenwave was probably like, I don't want to permanently ruin your channel. And it doesn't reflect well on you, and like, should we just lay off,
Yeah, and we're giving these Red Cow Arcade guys too many views.
Yeah, these guys, I don't know what to say about them. I want to punch the garbage out of them. I wrote down something you said when we were chatting about it. I don't remember exactly what it meant, but you said that pinned comment is a farce.
Well, I think the pinned comment is a farce.
Yeah.
I think I probably meant that. I think it sounded like a breakup letter to Screenwave. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
So there's some part of it that was a farce to me. We chat late at night sometimes.
I think because he didn't actually announce his intentions to change stuff within the video. There was a lot of, I think, thinly veiled commentary that kind of like implied it. He alluded to his new plans. For one, he had said like, if I'm all about nostalgia, so if that's what you want, stick around. So it was that implies I'm resetting things around here. And then the other one was he said something like, he was talking about appreciating media more when there's less of it, or when there's less options or fewer options. He said better to have more all at once or less and appreciate more. So I think he's saying I'm going to make fewer videos. And so there's a little bit of a metaphor there, I think, was the intention. But he does have that that Mortal Kombat hat, the one that looks like somebody punched the garbage out of it and put it on him. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like
I wasn't paying attention to his hats.
Well, the subreddit does. Have you ever had I don't know, you're probably not like a baseball hat guy. I'm not really either, despite how I appear on Boxmac. But like, when a hat gets really worn out and it's just like a bed sheet, like that's kind of what he's got going on right now.
Yeah, he's. I did notice. It is funny when he's the nerd and you see his hairline, and then when he wears the hat, the hat actually is much better. It's a much better look for him.
Yeah, my only, I actually genuinely enjoyed watching that video, I have to admit, and I appreciate, or I respect him for starting to kind of be like, hey, let's change things up. But I feel like I know the guy too well at this point, and I feel like he just doesn't really have the chutzpah to make a whole lot of content, if much at all, and I don't know. I don't know if he can quit those Screenwave guys.
It's hard to say. We'll see. It does. He's signaling a sea change, and I'll give him. I'll give him a view. I watched this one. I thought it was good. It was fine.
Why not?
Yeah.
I enjoy whatever he does, whether it's plagiarism or anything.
And we'll talk about it. Rocky montages.
If he hires untalented people to make 12 videos a day, I enjoy whatever he does. I'm here for all of it. I'm not here to hate. I'm here to love.
Yeah. I'm all for it. Looking forward to it.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.